Hello and welcome back to another episode of Wake Up Poverty Inspires Me. Our mind is a very interesting phenomenon. Every day when we wake up, our mind is going to work in ways that we have no idea. And as the day sets in, repetition occurs, and for a lot of people, the day seems very similar to the previous day, and they only wake up the next day to feel as if they're going to just repeat the same action for another day, and sometimes it may feel like the routine is pointless or it will never end, or some alternating thought about the dread of having to face it again and again and again. This is part of that mind at work. It's like getting up in the morning and noticing, do you get your left foot or your right foot out of bed first? Do you sleep on the left side of the bed or the right side of the bed? Can you sleep on the other side of the bed? Do you even think about these things? Which foot do you step with first? Does it matter? See, these are examples of behaviors that we do that's so simple. If you were to get a spoon and you were to eat and you know you're right-handed, you know you're going to pick it up with your right hand. Your right hand is now, we call it your dominant hand. So your little small actions is your dominant behavior. And that's where people get it so wrong when they're waking up unconscious and just seeing their day as a repetition of a previous day. Then they miss the beauty and the action of the creative moment of life. The ability to become aware and then to adapt that awareness to your needs or to your wants. Now, the examples I use are simple and they're something that we do every day. But if we could break something down that simple and we could begin to notice it, is it possible that if I said I want to sleep on my right side of my bed instead of my left, that I could train myself to do that? It is possible. And it's because it became a known thing. And then getting out of the bed, could I step with my left foot instead of my right? Could I even learn to write left-handed? See, because these things go into how much we have tied into it, right? What other skill has developed off of being dominant with my right hand? I can write, I can type, I can do things, I can pick things up. And if I use my left hand, I can, for example, maybe I can throw a good punch or a baseball, or I can do things good. And if I try to do it with my left hand, my balance may be off. Maybe my equilibrium doesn't feel right. And if I try to write with my left hand, it might look like a child who's barely learning to write. It probably looks like that with my right hand too, but probably even way worse with my left. So could I train myself? Over time, I'm sure I could. I could train myself to write with my left hand, just like I trained myself to write with my right hand. But unless we're aware that these things in life are all adaptable and trainable depending on the one perceiving, we're going to be a victim of our own unconscious thought patterns. When we wake up in the morning and we just go and we don't think about where we're going, we're just moving. It's like they call it a drifter. A drifter really never goes anywhere. If you think about a raft in the middle of the ocean, it's just drifting. Let's say without any current to go anywhere, it's just going to drift indefinitely until it sinks one day. The island that it needed to land on could have literally been within its own side, but because of its drifting nature, it could never fully even see the island, metaphorically speaking. What that means for you is that you cannot see the opportunities in front of you if you continue to drift. You must become aware of the small things in your life because those are the important things. Those are the things that make you who you are. Every day I wake up, first thing I do is I clean my yard and I make my bed. Why would he clean his yard and make his bed? Because my gym's in my yard and I'm going to work out first thing in the morning. And I don't like to work out in a dirty gym. And I have trees, and every day the trees make a mess. And every day I clean it because that's what I do. And then I get my nutrition and I carry my day from there forward with the right intention. Now, I want to make more daily podcasts. I want to come out, I want to talk more. But what do I got to do? I got to just sit down and take the action to do it. I made 50 episodes last year, and I'm going to make 50 episodes this year. This is my goal, just because it's something I said and it's something I want to do. But if I don't build the right habits, if I don't put the right things in place, if I don't block out my time effectively and do what I say, then I'm not going to do it because I'm in the habit of doing something else. You see, I do this because I want to. I don't even know if anybody even listens to me. I think people do. And if you are listening, I really thank you, and I'm glad that you are. And I hope you can take something away from what I'm saying. I studied these things in myself for a very long time. It took me a very long time to develop into the person that's speaking to you right now. I had to let go of a lot of selfish tendencies or traits that I was completely unaware of. I had to let my ego go and not talk about me all the time. I had to learn that compassion is allowing other people to fully express who they are. I don't have a platform in the moment where I am talking to another person, so I just speak. Well, it would be easy for me to speak and ramble on about myself because I know myself. But if I'm going to do that, then let me speak of qualities that can enhance others through maybe ideas, through actions, applicable actions. Like, if every day I'm going to drink a coffee, then every day I'm going to drink a 16 or a 12 ounce of water with it, as a complement to my habit that I already have in place. You can stack your habits, your new habits, into things that you already do. Sometimes it's harder to completely change a way of being or a habit, and you have to make it fun and you have to make it interesting. It's always interesting to make a podcast and talk for 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time. Because if I'm going to talk for 15, 20, or 30 minutes at a time, I really need to know my subject nature, and I need to know it well. I need to have lived it, continue to live it, embody it, be it. It's easy for us in life to make an excuse of why we can't do something. It's the easiest excuse ever. I can't do it because I don't have X, I don't have Y, I don't have Z. I never had shit. And here I go again and talking about myself. But it's to use yourself as an example, a metaphor, a way of seeing. Why do you think this podcast is Wake Up Poverty Inspires Me? Because I come from that, so I understand. Doesn't mean that's where I have to stay. But I will never change it because it builds character. It's built the person talking. But it wasn't always this way. Wasn't always this way. The person talking to you was a drifter, blamed other people for his problems. He thought it was the world's fault instead of his own. He thought if such and such would change and this and that would happen and the world would stop being so unfair, maybe it would get better. Didn't realize the better was always here, it's always now. It's when we put ourselves in a place that we need to somehow be more than what we are, that we forget who we are. And this acts of forgetting, it causes us to become creatures of constant habit and repetition. And unless we're aware of what this constant habit and repetition is, we're deemed to repeat it over and over. And the really interesting about this habit creation and formation things is sometimes it'll seem as your life is a constant balance of chaos and order. I have noticed yesterday I have 2 piles in my room, one of dirty clothes and one of clean clothes folded, ready to be put away. And I thought to my mind right away, there's a perfect example of chaos and order. And here I am in the middle. understanding that the chaos is needed so the order can occur, and vice versa. And here I am in the middle. So are the chaos and the order more intricately connected than I know? Because I'm the one that's aware of them. I'm the one that's creating them. So these invisible, intangible things as chaos and order are part of our daily habit and our systems of routine and behavior. And if you want to adjust these things, you have to become aware of what these things are within your own life. And the more aware you become,